Okay, I do believe we are good to go. Good evening, everybody. This is Anissa Barton-Thompson and Daniel Kramer of LA Web Professionals. This is the May 2026 meeting. We are joining you live online from Los Angeles, California, and all places around the country and around the world. For those of you who are joining in, we have our friend Roland is joining us from the Philippines. So it's good to have Adobe friends and family from all around. So thanks for joining us tonight. This session, we are going to be jumping in with our dear friend, Chana Messer, who is an Adobe community professional, community expert, educator extraordinaire. She's part of the Adobe Higher Ed community group, campus leaders, and she has been, how long have you been doing this, Chana?
Oh, I don't know, since I'm two, so it's around 40 years. No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
I've actually started when Illustrator started. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going on 39 years with
My goodness.
Adobe,
I love it. I love
40.
it.
Actually, I did it before actually when we were just PostScript.
Mhm. So Hannah is going to be bringing us Adobe Firefly generating fully editable vector images. And I love this idea because we've been wanting to do this for a very long time. And Firefly and Adobe Illustrator working together to bring us SVGs that can be created via AI is just fantastic. So we're gonna see what she's got to offer. First, I want to let everybody know that we are recording, live streaming on YouTube, so this will be available online afterwards. Hannah, how would you like the questions to be addressed to you? Do you want folks to hold on and put them in the chat and I jump in to bring them, or do you want
I
to be confidential?
depending, I think I kind of wanted it to be conversational a little bit,
Mhm.
because everything that we do is kind of pretty new, and there's a lot of questions from all of us all the time, and everybody has their own workflow. So everything I'm going to show you is like my workflow. It's not like I'm telling you do that or don't do that. I'm going to also jump into Illustrator because there is also kind of like a path between them, because Firefly has too few things that it does with Vector, and then a lot of stuff you do it in Illustrator, even though they call it in Firefly, they're just doing it in Illustrator. So we're
Absolutely.
going to jump to Illustrator. And I just prepared some images just to show you, and I'm just going to go back and re-show it to you. I also have a tendency to copy and paste the prompts into the chat. So if you want to use it and do some stuff with it, you can do it too. So kind of let's just do it in a friendly way. That's how I feel. What do you guys think?
Sounds good. We're thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up everywhere.
Yes.
And and if you are camera shy or microphone shy and you don't want to jump online, feel free to put your comments, questions, uh, commentary in the chat for us, and we'll read it back to Hannah for her so she can go ahead. And
Yeah.
towards the end of the presentation, we'll go ahead and do our raffle at the end, and then we'll be good to go. So Hannah, the floor
Yeah.
is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I know a lot of you. So some of you kind of know me in person. Some of you just know me from other events. It's like Anissa said, I'm using it for a very long time. I can't say that I use Firefly for years now, because this is so different now when you teach AI and everything. You cannot tell your students, oh, I've been using it forever. And let me tell you, because every time I open Firefly or do any AI stuff, there is a surprise there because they are changing the UI almost on a daily basis. So it's kind of like we're all in the same learning curve and investigating the same things. And then I go online and I check out different ways of doing some stuff. And like Cheryl said, I want to be loyal to Adobe, but if there's a project that somebody suggests that somebody else is doing it in a different way, of course, I'm going to jump over and look and check it out. The reason I'm using Firefly because I get enough credit from Adobe, and it's most of it is free for me. So I just don't want to go out and pay so much money So I'm be using most of the time just Adobe Firefly or using it within the application. So I'm using it a lot within Photoshop, within Illustrator, within InDesign, and also using it with Adobe Express. And now I'm using it a lot in Acrobat. So all the stuff that I go in and out, I kind of like relate to the stuff and using it. So one thing I wanted to ask you guys before we start, how many of you use Adobe Illustrator?
Quite
And
a
you
few
can say,
hands there.
yay, and
Yes.
I love, and how many love being doing and doing some vectors, right? So one of the things that I do in the beginning, not that you need to know about it, but I'm going to share my screen, and I think I open it already in Illustrator, and you can see over here, let me just move in. And I'm looking back and forth because I have another screen here. But this is something that I show my students right away whenever we start. I'm looking at Photoshop versus Illustrator because a lot of time I kind of feel like explaining again and again what is the difference between vector art and pixel-based art, because the major difference, and that's why Illustrator works a little bit different. I always get also a question, how come the layers in Illustrator are not like in Photoshop and then we can do the group? Because it's not the same, because you can have one layer in Photoshop, in Illustrator, and inside the layer you can have 2000 objects, and that's going to be your project. So the layers in Illustrator are really for organization as opposed to Photoshop. So a lot of time I'll show that to the students, and I kind of prepare that. If you are interested in looking at it more in close, I can upload it later or send it to Anissa and she can upload it for you guys so you can look at the stuff that I have. And then I did it in Illustrator, of course, so you can see I have my, sorry, I have my artboards over here, and then I have it how you use Illustrator and Photoshop kind of like together, so you can see that. So basically it shows you when to use Photoshop and when to use Adobe Illustrator, and then when to use it kind of together. And all the way down, I have a link about the whole thing. So you can see that, and that's the difference between them. So Photoshop is the pixel-based, Illustrator actually is the vector-based, and then if I have to do it together, I usually show them kind of like images to explain it. So on the left side, you see a doll that I drew, and actually I did it in Fresco, which is pixel-based software from Adobe. And then I have stuff that I kind of played with in Lightroom and a collage in Photoshop. It's all pixel based, as opposed to vector over here that you see a symmetry, you see icons, and you see logos over here. So kind of like to understand that. And then based on that, it is going to be different when we're going to go in and do some stuff. It doesn't look like a Photoshop image, but still you can combine it together. So I'm just going to go out of there and jump over to, oops, and jump over again to Firefly. And then this is Adobe Firefly. So how many of you, I mean, probably I'm not going to ask you because I know all of you used it before. And then I think you had some kind of project already. I believe that Kevin did something about boards a month ago, and I think Andrew did some stuff, and Steven did some stuff. So you guys had a lot of stuff about AI and about Firefly. One of the things that I take from Firefly and from AI, and I'm going to say it right away, it's never kind of like my final product. But it means that I go there for inspiration. I go there for ideation as well. And then I try to change it based on the other skills that I have using Photoshop or Illustrator or any other product that I can do stuff. So it's not like whenever I do there, it goes right away. Does that make sense? And I'm sure a lot of you are doing kind of like the same thing, because for me, it is really a way to ideate and then look at some kind of ideas. So what do I have over here? If you guys did not use Firefly, you have new people on the left side, and every time I go there, there's something new. And then I can see here, there's the custom models are already there. I have my gallery, I have Photoshop on the web, and I have Adobe Express all the way to the left there. But then all the way there, I have something that I can create, generate. I have the boards over here, the AI assistant, which is in beta version still. There's production, quick action, and then my stuff over here. So if I'm going to go to your stuff, you can see here, there's all the stuff that I'm doing. Not necessarily everything is AI and was created actually in Firefly. This is cloud stuff that I'm using some things and then it just goes to my stuff. So it could be presentations, images, drawing, thinking, and all kind of stuff. I have the generation history. I have my favorites. So if I'm, and I'm very, very careful right now because I crashed a lot today. So I'm trying not to click too much and all the stuff. But if people share with me some stuff, so you can see here, these are projects that I did with some students and clients together. So these are stuff that were shared with me. Then I have a favorite that, of course, some things I kind of like it more than others, or maybe it is for a presentation. And then I have the generation history and the stuff that I generate. And then I should clean it a little bit, but you can see it's a lot of stuff. And then every time I can just call it back and start working on it and then play with that. And of course, I have different kind of elements. If I go back here and I don't have any element yet, and then I didn't actually organize it the way it is. So now when I'm going back to my Firefly again, to the main area. So you can see over here, you can do video, you can edit an image, you can create an image, but I'm going to go into all the features over here. And then I'm going to go into the area that says images. And you can see over here that you have text effects, you have generative recolor, and you have text to vector over here. So I'm going to go first to text to vector. And then I'm going to click over here. And then hopefully it's working. Yay, it is working for me. Yesterday, what happened? I clicked on that and I got a blank screen. I don't know if it ever happened to you. I restarted it again and again, and nothing really happened. So what happens over here in the general setting, which is super important, I have the models and I have Firefly 2, I think 3 and 4. And then you can see over 3 actually. In Illustrator, you already Firefly 4. And then you have partner modules, and then you have the 2 partners over here next to that. Basically, you need to check it out with the partner models if they are taking a little bit more credit that you have over here. So it is text to vector. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go into one of my prompts that I have. And then I prepared some prompts. And then the first one that I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and let's say, I'm just going to do something super, super simple. And I'm going to copy, and then actually I'm going to paste it over here so you can go and see over here. in the chat, and it says a cute vector illustration of a queen bee featuring bold black outlines, yellow and black stripes, and a small wing. The bee is wearing a golden crown with round tips, giving it a royal, playful look. Below the bee, the word queen is written in a stylish, bold script font logo style. Okay. You're going to ask me, did you do it yourself? No, I did not. I went online and I said, let's give me some more creative ideas about vector images. And there is a site that I'm going to put it for you in a minute that I got from there a lot of the prompts. Not saying that I like all of them, but it helped me. And then I'm going to give it for you here. And this is the area that I went to. And this is a site, I think you have to pay money to get more information, but I got some prompts that I like. And some of the prompts, I'm going to use some stuff that I do with Photoshop or pixel images. So I'm going to go in and copy it again because, and then I'm going to go back here and I'm pasting it. But before I'm doing it, I have unlimited access right now because it is Adobe Firefly 3, not a partner model. And then they're going to ask me, what would I like to do? Subject or a scene? What's the difference between them? Do you want to do an entire scene or do you want to do something about a subject? So it's depending what do you want to do. Within Illustrator, you also can go in and get an icon. So they developed it a little bit more. Over here, you have style references. If I want to upload a style, I can. And I have some special effect and the color and the tones of the palette. I'm not going to do anything. And at the moment, what should we do, guys? Scene or subject? Well, let's just do a subject and see how it looks.
And while it's generating, Cheryl brought up an interesting question. Um, for those who are relatively new to either Firefly or AI, she asked, what do you mean? What does it mean for partner credits? How do they work? And so just to clarify, partner credits in Adobe Firefly are basically, they're a specialized category of generative credits. So every time you generate an image, you are utilizing credits, in other words, a paid unit that is included with your subscription, your Adobe subscription, or whatever cloud service you're using
Mhm.
for AI generation. And in this case, Adobe provides its own units, but then it also provides outside third-party platform providers called partners, and those partner credits have a different unit rate. So you actually wind up using more credits towards the outside vendors than the ones that are built into Adobe.
Yeah. And also, you can go always before doing anything and check your credit and see of like generative AI, the standard feature is unlimited, and the premium features, how many credits do you have, and then it's changing it. And then in June 20th, 2026, I'm gonna get back more stuff that I have. So it kind of like rotates. I highly recommend not to make mistakes, and I always tell that. A few weeks ago, I was doing just a demo and one of the students asked me, can you do this with this video platform? And I said, let me see if it's connected to Photoshop. And it says yes. And I clicked on it and it was 700 credits. And it just went down the drain. I'm like, whoa, I didn't want to do that. So I always now pay attention before I do something and I'm thinking, does it worth me like spending this credit or not? But look at that right now. So this one is a subject. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to create a scene. It's going to be from the same prompt that I have. And of course, I can go in and change the prompt and add and take away some styles, but it is going to go in. It's pretty slow when we are on Zoom. And then in a minute, look at that. So you can see the difference between a scene and between a subject. So I would do a scene if I needed to do maybe a poster and it was part of a background. But if I am going to do maybe a logo about a new company for honey, and don't take me wrong, I might not even use something like this. It's just like that's what I got. I might go in and play with it, or maybe for a product for kids or for a kid's book or something like this, a story about the queen bee. You can see over here that I have that. But I can go back, let's say, for the subject, and then maybe I want to go in and look at reference. So I can go in into the reference and then I can add an image. And if I have another image to do it as a reference, I can go for my device or for my Creative Cloud storage. So I just can go back here and let's say I'm just going to go back here to an image that I have there, and I have that as a reference. And you can see it is actually a vector frog that's sitting on a leaf over there. And now if I'm going to go back here and generate it, it is, and it's fully vector. But another thing, when we go into the vector later in Illustrator, we're going to zoom into it. Is it a perfect vector? Yes, it is, but it's not as perfect when you draw it yourself a lot of time. So I'm going to show you little ways to zoom in and maybe fix it. So you're going to need to fix it in Illustrator because sometimes the vectors are not attached to each other as perfectly as when you are drawing, because it just does it for you. But look at that. I kind of liked it a little bit more because, and this one is not really so childish anymore, because all of a sudden you do have an image that looks kind of like a little bit different. Do I want to get some effects to it? I have different kind of effect all the way here. So I can go back here, let's say to the 3D effect, and then I'm going to go into the tonal colors that I have, and I can say I want it to be with golden colors. Again, you need a lot of patience and time because, like I said, I'm in a stage of ideation or inspiration. So instead of going to books or Googling it, I'm here right now looking at the stuff and evaluating what I want to use. And a lot of time, what I do is, in order not to kind of lose some stuff, I'm going to start downloading some stuff or bring it later to the board and start doing and working with the ideation that I have. And then you can see all the way down, it's all the elements that I did. So what am I going to do with it right now? I'm going to go in and choose one of them. So let's say this one looks to me as one of the cutest one. I'm going to go to edit so I can use it later as a style reference and do it again. So it is a style reference of your own thing, and you can open it in Illustrator on the desktop. Then I can go back here and I can just download it if I want. So if I'm just going to go and download it, I just downloaded this image, and then I have the share options. And then I can copy the SVG and then share it with anybody that I have and bring it over. But let's say I'm going to go back here now and I'm going to open it in Illustrator on the desktop. If I'm going to open Illustrator on the desktop now, it is going to open the regular Illustrator that I have on the screen here, but I also kind of like to show you a little bit what's going on in Illustrator, the beta version, the public beta. So what I did, instead of clicking here and opening regular Illustrator, which you will do is, I'm just going to go back to Illustrator right away right now. I don't need this one, but I'm going to go back here and just going to do File and Open. And then I downloaded it. So this is in my download over here. And then you can see Firefly and it tells you what it is. And it says it is a cute thing over here. And then this one is my little artboard with the stuff that I have. So in Illustrator, it's super important to zoom in and see how it looks. This is all pure vector right now, but maybe some stuff, it's not exactly the way I wanted it to organize if I drew it myself. Does that make sense? Because this is something that I want to kind of like really emphasize. Because sometimes look at the crown over here. Not really looking exactly the way I want it because you can see some default things over there. So maybe I should have gone back to the original and say something about the crown. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. So what can I do over here? Apply, I mean, for the store, I can also go in and I'm just going to go right away here to generative expand. So if I'm going to go into generative expand, I can actually go back here and expand it, but I'm just going to go in to the image itself and then select the whole thing and look at that. This is just the background. So if I'm going to go in and let's say I deleted the background, look what I'm getting right now. So you see what happens right now? I mean, the way it was, it's not exactly the way I wanted because all the way the wings are looking a little bit different. And I took away the background and look what's going on inside the text over here. I'm going to go back here and delete that. I can go back here and delete that. So I have a lot of stuff here that I have to basically go and start kind of like changing the things that I have. So again, I deleted the background because I just wanted to have the bee, but now I have some work to do if I want to go back here and play with it. If I'm just going to undo it for a minute, and go back to the regular area, you can always go directly here and start isolating. And this is actually my favorite thing in Illustrator. I'm just going to go back and I'm isolating the areas that I want to go in and do something. This is a gradient that was here. And then I see Doug is asking, are field path layered over each other? Yes, so each segment you can go in right now. Let's check out, great question. Let's go into our layers for a minute and check that out. And do you see the layers right now? You see? That's a lot of objects that we have over here. So I can go in and look at this. Is one object and another. So that's when you start kind of like playing with it. This is basically a compound path over here. And then maybe I want to just do something with that. Or if I go back here just to the compound and delete it, look what happens right now. That was just, and I went in and deleted just the background that I have over here. So these are the layers. It's not going to layer it for you for now with wings and then eyes and things like this, the way you're going to draw. It just has some kind of an abstract way of working for you. But I'm going to go back, and then this is, by the way, the beta version. And I like to do it a lot of time for demo just to show people the new tools that we have here and other stuff that we have. So you can see directly here below that, yeah, they're missing the eyepiece, they're missing a lot of stuff over here. So maybe I won't go with this way, and then maybe I should go back to Firefly and then see if I want to have another one with it. And then I'm just going to go back here and have the same one and then just have maybe, actually, I wanted to have a subject, not a scene. And let's see what I'm getting right now. So depending also, what are you using it for? Do you want to have just an icon? Or do you want to have a scene completely? And we're going to do another one in a minute, and you can see other ways to do that. So this one is, and then I'm going to go back here and just do the little subject. I still have the others over there, all the way up there. So I can go back and forth. I can download the stuff that I have. And then I can also go in and try if I want to go in and do another partner models that I have. So depending which one that I want to do, if I click here on the partner model, he will just tell you more or less that 20 credits for this one. And then for ChatGPT, I have something that maybe 60 credit. Do I want to do it? That it works for me to do it right now or not? You can also go put another vector there, or you can put in the prompt and tell it what something else to do if you want to go and change it. So I'm not going to waste right now. Uh, yeah, exactly. It's one output. Absolutely, Roland. So you have to start looking at it. In the beginning, I didn't look at that, but now I'm looking at more and more and then deciding which one I'm going to go. And I might go back and download some stuff, or I can go directly to Illustrator, and that's going to be your regular Illustrator, not the beta one that you have. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to go and let's say I'm going to download this. I'm just going to download this one.
And Hannah, while you're downloading that
Downloading?
one, Doug says in Hannah's example, I might keep the background, remove holes, remove fill, and pick the things that you want. So I think there is a way where you can kind of
Yeah,
customize your prompts to match a particular style. And I know
exactly.
Brad actually made a really great suggestion in the past too, is uh, using the AI to deconstruct your own styles to start to build out a library of styles.
Exactly,
Yeah, to
exactly. And
train
you
your
can
own.
see that you have over here that, you have the queen over here. And then like Roland said, like Firefly is really great for ideation because we don't get, we don't waste the credit and we can play with it and play with it a lot and do all kind of stuff. And once we get into the idea, so depending, do I like the queen over here? Do I like the word queen? Maybe I don't even want the word queen over here. So I can just go back here and just take away. And then depending what I have here, and then I can go back here and take it away completely. I can go back here now just to, let's say, the heart that I have here. And then, of course, since it's Illustrator, so I'm going to go in and say, go back here. Oops. And then select same, and I'm going to go back here, fill color, and then it is not the same fill color. I thought it's the same, but it's not, so it didn't select. So I'm just going to go in and delete the hearts if I don't want them, because maybe I'm going to build other hearts over here and click on the stuff that I have here. So now what I have here, I have this little bee over here, and then I'm just going to go in and select the bee, and then I can go in and it tells me generate vectors over here. But this is what I have right now. You can see, oh, I should go in right away and go to outline. That's when I'm checking usually the stuff that I don't want. I always go to outline, back and forth, command or control Y to see what I have here. So this is what I have over here. And I have my little B over here. Yes, can I go in and isolate everything? Yes, I can. But you can see what I want to show you is how it's constructed. If I be, and then also what I really wanted to show you now is this. Do you see that? It is not really pure vector. It is pure vector, but if I drew it, I wouldn't have drawn it like this. It is a little jaggy, it's not perfect. You see the way it is, the edges are, and then to see the stuff. Look at this. Maybe are not really accurate. Look at that. Maybe should have been a corner, but it's not really a corner. So think about it if you were drawing it. Maybe it would have looked a little bit different. and then maybe it's going to be a little more accurate for depending for what you do. So, oh, look at that. I don't like that over here. Not crazy about this line. Do you see that? Not really perfect. So it is depending what you are going to go and do it. If you wanted to do it a perfect pure vector, the way it comes out from Illustrator, you end up going in either editing it or almost taking it as a reference and copying it and start kind of like playing with it. And that's what I do a lot of time with it. But what I'm going to do is now I'm just going to go and select it just for here. And then I'm just going to group it. So you can see over here in the layer, I just grouped it. I could have gone now and start layering and say wings and eyes and things like this. That's going to be a job right now. So you're asking fully editable vector, but worth the trouble of editing if you can do much better. It's just depending on time or also depending on reference. So let's say I have a job and it is a children's book and it's about a bee, and I have no idea how how I want to draw the bee. So I'm going to do a lot of ideation and then do kind of a vector and then pull out some stuff later and then maybe some stuff I'm going to draw. But the ideation is going to be pretty fast for me. Instead of sitting and drawing one bee after another, I'm just going here and saying to the client, look what I got here. And then if he's going to say, I don't really like the color of it and I just don't like a lot of the stuff. So I'm just going to go back here and simply select that, duplicate it over here, and then maybe I'm going to go here. You can go to Firefly to do it, but that's going to bring you directly into Illustrator, which is recolor artwork. And then I'm going to go back generative recolor and look what happens over here. So I do have the generative recolor over here, and then I'm just going to go back here and say which color I kind of want to get it, and then it tells you which one. Sandy stone, and then this one is blue, and I kind of like this one that says salmon sushi. Why? Okay, and I'm gonna go in and generate, and then I'm gonna get a different kind of color, but I still can go and do my own colors later with the generation that I have. And then look at that. I'm getting like the four of them over here. And look how cute it is right now. And then I have that and I have a different kind of generation. From here, and this is why I like it for ideation, because depending where you are going and what is your goal, do you want to create a brush? Do you want to go and create a pattern? Do you want to create a symbol? What do you want to do with this object? And I'm thinking, oh, wow, I might go and create a symbol. So while I am in Illustrator, I'm just going to go to the symbol panel and then just go back here and say new symbol, and I'm going to call it B1. And then I can do a dynamic symbol or static symbol and click OK. And I'm starting within Illustrator to really build my symbols that I have. Using the art created with this way, no, there's no copyright, because if you're using it within Firefly, you are okay to use that. If I am going to go and they won't let you do it, if that was Mickey Mouse, yes, that will have a trademark information and problem. So and then over here. So now I can go back here and do different stuff. So look at this. I have it here and I have it coming over here. I can make it smaller. I can make it bigger. And then I can even duplicate it if I feel like it. What else can I do with it? Whatever. I mean, I'm gonna just playing, and then I'm gonna jump over directly into Firefly in a minute. But I can basically gonna go back here to any area that I have, and then I'm going to go back here. And how about doing a repeat, right? So all the way here, I was ideating something, and maybe it is going to the children book that I'm talking about, and maybe for merchandise, a t-shirts. So it doesn't matter that the details are not perfect yet, but I'm giving the idea to my client about the what I want to go and then relate to them. So, and look how fast it is. And then I'm going to say, oh, maybe we want to do something that looks like that. Or maybe I want to go in and just have the bees over here. And I just did it directly over here within Illustrator. Is that becoming a community? Exactly,
Becoming a
one, right?
community.
It is a new, yeah, it's a good idea for like a logo or something. Becoming, that's cool. That
And
things like this. But
And Hannah, I
did,
thought it was really neat when you first started creating the bee, you had the little hearts and the text and things. And in the back of my mind, I was going, oh, I almost wish you had kept the hearts and maybe just stored them, say, in the library or stored them as
mhm.
symbols or something that you can reuse and repurpose as other parts of
Yeah,
the element because they're the same
I
style.
could, and a lot of times this is what I actually do. I repurpose. I used to call it stealing stuff, but it's not really. From every time I'm like taking little things and then combine them kind of together. So I'll have different petals from different kind of ideation that I have, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back here in Illustrator and kind of like put them some kind of like together. And then I can just go back here and then just play with the stuff and then again do some more. This is still live. Do I do it with that? Sometimes. Sometimes I do it handmade and I'm gonna do actually the symmetry handmade because I like to do it even more handmade. If I go back to Firefly though, and hopefully it's just gonna go back to Firefly. And then this is back to Firefly over here. And then I'm going to go back to out from text to vector. And I'm just going to go back here and click on um, over here that I have in, and over here I have generative recolor. So as soon as I go to generative recolor, it will give me a prompt over here and it's tell you, and then open Creative Cloud desktop app over here. And that's actually going to go in and open it directly in Illustrator. Yeah, yeah, well, and yes, it is. I use the radial repeat in the object menu. Absolutely. I did it kind of like because it's a fast one. I still actually like to do it the old-fashioned way, and I use it with like rotating and repeating and rotating and doing it handmade. But I want to show people like the immediate one. But you see over here, I'm going to go back here and now it's going to open the regular Illustrator. I actually jumped to this one. And then you have to go in and use that within Illustrator. So this is the stuff that they don't tell you, but you don't have it. It used to be inside in the beginning, it was inside. It was inside and you can do some stuff and they took it away and it just goes directly inside. If I go to text effect, guess what it's going to be? It is going to be live text, which is kind of vector, but it doesn't go to Illustrator. It does go to Express. So these are things that like this, the template goes directly to Express. Sync to image goes to the 3D that they have right now, which I don't use so much. And then you have generative fill, which is the Photoshop stuff, and create an image over here. So now what I wanted to show you is I'm jumping back to Illustrator. And then I did play with some stuff before. So I'm just gonna have, I don't like this one. I don't know if you guys like it, but I don't. Don't like the queen. But I just ended up naming it. So I'm just gonna go back here and then let's see what I have here. So here is generate vector within Illustrator right away. So what is the difference over here when you do stuff? You have a little more control over here within Illustrator. So let's check out this one. You understand, you can see what I did, right? What did I ask them to do? I said, a man wearing a fedora with a green apple in his mouth in the style of Magritte, right? So just I thought about Magritte, and then I just did that, and then this is the prompt that I gave it, and then now I can go in and figure out what else do I want to do that. And then the apple, if I double click, I don't have the entire apple here. You can see I have part of the apple here. If I zoom in, I always check it out to see if I like all of it. Look at that here. I don't like the way it looks here. I don't like the way the brown is here. I might go in and check it out a little bit to give it a different kind of look over here. So now, if I'm just going to go back here and just select it, you can see the prompt over here, and then you can edit the prompt if you want. And all the way up here, oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, no, don't do it. Uh-oh. This is the part that I don't like because I didn't want to do a turntable from such a big image because sometimes it will crash.
Okay, our
But you can
fingers are
see here
crossed.
because yeah, it is going to take, and then there's no way unless I crush the machine. Oh, why did I do it?
That's okay.
I always
But
do
if it
that.
works, it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, but I always do that. I'm saying, why did I do that? Yeah, I always do that. Why do I do that?
Let's see.
Well, are you asking if there is a difference between 3 and 4? We got to check it out while we're looking at it, and then, let's see if it does something.
It did. Yay. Kind of.
Yay.
In a weird roundabout way, the apple.
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
You see, I mean, I'm not going to do that because I have a sample of it, but there's a way to place all the views on the canvas. Be careful when you do that. You get a lot of views. I have another one, a smaller one that I did. So I already prepared it. So we're not going to crush together. And then you can go in and export it as a GIF. So I'm just going to go back here, and then I'm just going to go back here and generate that as a GIF, and you can see here. So it is going to go, and of course you can do the frame rate, and then decide to kind of like change the stuff that we have.
Bradley asked a really good question. He said, have you
Mhm.
had any issues with trying to tell it to emulate a particular artist's style?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then sometime all of a sudden, depending on the artist, it will tell me I can't do this for you because maybe the artist is not part of it. And actually, I have another prompt, I think, that told me maybe you guys to help me figure out why it told me the prompt is not good. It told me we can't do it for you. There's something that harassing or whatever it is, but I have it here. Okay. And then Roland said he feels for me because it crashed already here. And then if I go back here, you can see this is basically all the elements of the gift that I have over here. Bunch of them that I have. So I have kind of a gift. I didn't mean to do this one, but this one over here, that was a scene that I did. And then it was from icon and logos to a complex illustration and an abstract view. So I'm going to go, I can edit the prompt over here. And then I'm going to go back here and decide what do I want to do with it? Generative shape fill, generative expand, and generative recolor. And I can also go back here and edit the prompt that I have. So I'm going to go in and say, what do I want to edit? I want to go in and the color a tree. So add a vibrant green, give me your suggestions, and it tells you it uses 10 credit. Do you want to do that or not? Because that's Gemini. That's Nano Banana over here. If I go into the newest one, it's going to be 40 credit. Does that make sense? So I'm checking it out, and then ChatGPT, it's 60. Not doing it. Okay, I'm gonna go 2.5. Maybe I'm gonna do 10 credit, right? So that's okay. And then I'm gonna go enhance it, and then maybe I'm gonna do something else, and then I'm just going to go back here and see the changes. So depending, could I do the changes over here? Absolutely. I can go in and start taking some ideas or maybe take some of the flowers, but I'm going to go back here and then you can see that. So I'm going to go back here. You can add a style reference if you want, and you can add some kind of effect if you wanted to go in and just get something like this. So I prepared a few demos over here in case I am crashing here, and I gave it even names. And then I have something I called portrait with flowers. Okay, and look at that. So look what I have over here. And I just did it like this just to make life a lot easier in terms of like a demo that we have. So I'm going to go back here and look at that. And this one is the prompt that I had over here. I can go in and change the prompt, but if I don't want to do that right now, let me just go into my preferences, and then you can see over here that I have, and the prompt is an elegant Asian fashion model. Let me just go in and you guys can play with it if you want. I'm gonna copy it and put it in the chat. So you have an elegant Asian fashion model with realistic proportions and refined facial features. She has a natural skin texture, subtle, and makeup. Whoa, cool. So I did that, but I didn't do anything to it. But then I went here and copied her, and over here, that was generative fill. So again, I went back here and then I told you that I wanted to have small flowers in it. And then I went to this one and I wanted to have some birds in it. And then because it's vector, it's still keeping it for you and having the original. So let me just show you what I did over here. So let's say I just went this one. Usually I copy it. Why would I copy? Because I want to add, I want to leave my original that I have. So I'm just going to go back here. And then I have another artboard. Love the new artboards here now. It's like in Photoshop that you can go in and just copy it. So what I have over here, I took the original that I did, and now I'm going to go back here and say, what do I want to do it? You can do generate vector, generative shape fill. So now I'm going to tell it that inside whatever the shape is, I want to go in and put something else. And then they're giving you some ideas what you want, and then what do you want to go and have in there. And I'm going to do Firefly Vector 3. You can do Nano Banana and the other one as well. And then you have prompt suggestions if you want. That's the elegant women that I have. But what do I want to have in the generative shape fill? So I can decide. I want to go in and say small, colorful flowers. And then while I do that, it gives me some other ideas. Bloom in the rain or whatever it is. I'm going to go and just do that. And then I'm just going to go in, see how much detail that I want to have. I'm not having any style reference, not any effects in, and nothing else. And then it uses one credit. I'm happy. And now it is going to go into the shape that you have already. And then it is going to create some kind of flowers in there. I have one sample like this already, but you can see that here.
While it's generating, do you mind sharing the prompt?
Yeah, or the poem
Or
for that? Yeah, I did. The main prompt
in the
was an
chat?
elegant Asian fashion. That was the main one. And then
I
I
thought you
just,
were putting it in the chat. My apologies.
oh, I
Okay.
did. Oh, shoot, I didn't click.
Oh, there it is. Okay. We got
Okay,
it.
so
Thank
look at
you.
the small flowers that I got now. It is the same one. Look what I got here. Oh, I know why I got it here. Because when I went in there, I actually ended up doing some effect to it. So I'm just going to go back here. And then I had a style reference. So I'm going to go in and choose an asset for the style reference. And I have some stuff over here. And then let's say I have Firefly images over here. No, I don't want to have that. Let me see. No, the SVG file. It's not going to be, it has to be a regular JPEG that has it as a style reference. Maybe I put it in my downloads. No, 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 no. Okay. Let me just see if I want to have any reference. Okay. Oh, I don't need a reference right now, but I can, maybe I can put some effects over here. And then I'm just going to go in to the panel palette and then decide what colors I want. I want to add some more colors. So I'm adding the colors from my color panel that I have here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back here and maybe I'm going to get different flowers. But the flowers are different. See, they just went in there. Before that, I got different flowers. I almost couldn't go and repeat the same thing that I wanted, which that's what happened. Oops, nothing that I wanted over here. But actually, that's kind of fun, right? So, but look at that. Do you see what happened? One on top of each other. So if I go back here, it's one on top of each other. So what can you do with it now? I'm going to go back here and then I'm going to click maybe on my opacity and then maybe do a color burn. Or maybe I'm going to go back here and go in and do another effect. And then I'm just going to go back here and select her and align it and maybe do another effect over here. So kind of like the idea is to get something like this that doesn't look like the original. So I can go in, I almost can do like some kind of a color separation with it. So I'm like doing a certain prompt with something and then taking the image and making it look a little bit different. So now you can see that I have different kind of images that I have. This little bird that I got it, I don't even remember how I got it. It's another, I might go and put it directly into a symbol, right? Why not the symbol? Or how about going back here to this one and say, well, how about making it a brush? And it tells me that there's something in here that it's not a brush. I cannot do it. So I'm going to go back here and decide that I'm going to go and expand it. Why? Because I have a gradient in it and you cannot put a gradient in a brush. So I'm going to do another brush over here. And here it is. So I have a birdie. Is anybody going to remember or tell me? I mean, I got it in, I just brought it from here and I have my little birdie. So now what can we do with the birdie? I can have it as a reference image. I can go in and do some other stuff with it. You can do different kind of things with the birdie, or you simply can go in and just draw with it if you want. So if I have a brush, and I have the birdie over here. This is it. I have the brush right now. Do I want to fix it? Yes, absolutely. Let me just go back here and make the birdie a little blue or maybe green. So I'm just going to go into the brush, double click on it, and then just decide that I want to tint and shade. And then I'm going to apply it and look at that. This is the birdie that I have right now, and I applied it to whatever I have, and this is what I got right now. Does that make sense? So where did I get it? I got it from something, a prompt that I had, and did it directly in Illustrator, they don't have the object fill for vector in Firefly. This is not part of it. So when you see the generative fill in Photoshop there, I mean, in Firefly is basically a pixel-based one that you have. But I'm going to go back here. This is generate vector. This is this one. And then let's say I had another one all the way here. And I think I opened it before. And then, okay. And this is the one that I really liked. And look at that. Remember I told you be careful and don't tell it bring all the versions into the stage. I already did it at home today, so it is already in the stage, and this is basically all the one. So if it is a bigger file, you don't want to do that. But look what I have over here. So this is the turntable that I had over here, and I basically, what did I do and how did I get that? Did I draw it? Absolutely not. But how did I get this turkey? And then this is the turkey that I have over here. And then this one is another turkey. And then I did that from something else. So the something else right now called, let me just sew, and it's called sketch to vector. And I did prepare something and I called it sketch to vector. And this is what I have over here. So what I did, I placed a drawing that I made. I made it in fresco for one of the Thanksgiving. And then when I went to do it, it said to me, convert this image into a cartoon style with earth tone colors. It is an idea, right? It doesn't have to be the one, but it was an idea. So I'm just going to redo it. I'm just going to go in here and then say sketch to vector. You can also remove the background, by the way, directly here in Illustrator. So you do not have to go to Photoshop if you want to go in and remove the background. But I'm going to go sketch to vector. And then I can go in and tell it what do I want it to do. And then I'm going to say convert this image into a jazzy looking image with bright colors. I'm making it a little bit different. And let's see what it does. So you can have an idea, and from your sketch idea that you can do it with a pencil. I'm making you hungry, Roland. Yeah. With a turkey. Yep. It's looking cool. Happy Thanksgiving. And then maybe it's going to do something a little bit different. And you see why I prepared already the images, because the waiting period takes a long time to do that, especially in a presentation where people are just sitting there and waiting, unless you have a machine that blasts it. And then actually, I have a fast internet. I don't know why is it so slow
But
today.
I
I'm
just I
having a
think
slow day.
when it's dealing with that many colors and
Whoa, look at this.
wow.
Okay, so what happened here? I did jazzy color and it did jazz. So
Hmm.
the thing is, I didn't even think about it, but look what it did for me. Jazzy colors, and that's what I asked it to do. So it did stuff with jazz over here, which actually I kind of like it. And that's kind of like fun. And I want you to share a feedback because this is something new. And then you can see here, I mean, I'm just going to put it there, but you can see the original, and this is the one that was the prompt that I did for that. Then I took it over here, and you know what I did here, right? So I did generative colors, and I started with one over here. I didn't continue, but I can go back here to generative color, or I can just go into the colors that I have, and then just decide that I want to have Emerald City and then just go back here, and it's going to give me a little idea about the stuff. And then kind of generative color and recolor artwork, I really like it because it gives me a lot of ideas how to go in and look at the stuff that you have. Do I want it like that? Do I want it this green? Or I'm just going to go in and click on that. And then I'm going to click on the advanced options right now and click and look at that. All the colors that I did came back here. So I got it, and it's going to be in my panel right now. And then if I don't like it, yay, I can go and change it. And then I can go back here and have more colors. And if I click OK, it's a combination of generative color and combination of recolor artwork. Yeah, green eggs and turkey. You see that. So here's another one, which I like. This is another one. This is not one of my drawings. This is actually an image that I took, and then I ended up putting all kind of special effects in Photoshop, and then placed that and then made it into vector over here. And this is a completely the sketch to vector over here. And then if I'm looking at it right now in my layers panel, you can see here generative object over here. I'm going to go back here, and then let's say I'm going to click on this one. It comes right away grouped. This one comes grouped, so it's a lot easier to manipulate. Still, I have a lot of objects over here, but some of them are already grouped for me. So that's, again, this is generative vectors that you have from a sketch that you have over here. Another one that I have here is, let's say if I had another one, this is the turntable. And let's check out portrait, sketch, vector. Okay. And then I have something that I created kind of handmade completely. And then I'm just going to go back here. And by the way, I have all the images that I have here and generate everything. And then I always end up like saving everything that I have. So I have generative that's here like an exercise over here. And if I click on that, you can see what I have here. So let's say I'm just going to zoom in here, and that's a drawing that I did, and I end up going back here and telling it what do I want to have inside the drawing. I just played with different kind of effects to create the original one with just a drawing. So I'm just going to go back here and then look at that. So it started like this. Oh, not, it's not the right one. This one is another checkout how to create an image and then go to do the generative fill for it. And then I'm just going to go back here. Okay, here it is. So this is how I started the whole thing here. You can see over here, this is just a line drawing that I did. This one, I just did a rotation with it just to create, and then another one over here, just simple object just to play with. So then I copy and pasted it and then went in here, and then you can see here it says skin color and small dots, hand drawing watercolor gradient picture. That was my little prompt that I put in there. I mean, this is the prompt. Some of them I expanded it already. This one, fine strokes, ink textures, metal, retro, dirty. That's what I wanted kind of like to create. So it is the generative fill going in. I think this one, I don't, okay, this one is, I have another one that I did. This one is watercolor strokes. All what I wanted here is watercolor stroke. So then I took this guy And then let's see what we did here. Says small flowers with yellow birds and cherries. And then I got another one and probably added another generation to it. And all of a sudden I got that. And I really like it because all of a sudden I get here some kind of symbols that I can completely isolate it from my drawing. Does that make sense? So I can take the bird. I don't know why I do birds. And then look at that. It's on a leaf over here, but I could have taken the leaf over here and just have a bird and add some little legs to it. I can take the cherry and do some stuff with the cherry, and then it doesn't have the stem. So I might go back here and then I can copy it, unisolate it, and paste it. And look at that. All of a sudden I have a cherry and I can start working to a symbol, to a brush, and can go in and make some kind of even a pattern from it. Does that make sense? So you have a lot of options here where you're taking the vector from either Firefly that it's a little limited because you have text to vector right now, and the generative uh, fill generative colors. But then if you jump into Illustrator, you have a lot of information over here and you can start. So look at this. I took it and I went back with it to a different kind of effect. And what I like it, that you get the Illustrator effect and you still get the original because it's vector. So it comes one on top of each other and then you can start kind of like isolating it. Does that make sense? So I can take, let's say, this little guy here, and then I can go back here and decide generative patterns, generative recolor, generative expand, generative shape, and of course I can do a turntable if I want, and all the way here I can recolor it right away. But if I go in here, I'm going to generate the patterns over here, and then it is going to go in and go directly to my panel. Who is the fill guy? Oh, okay. And then look at that. So I do have 1 and 2 and 3. If I'm going to go to my panel over here, you can see that it's already here. So if I'm going to go back and just fill it with the color, you can see over here, I got the patterns over here. I got a pattern over here, and I generated some stuff over here. So I'm going to add it to the swatch, and I can just do patterns directly like that. Am I doing it a lot like this sometime? Most of the time, I like to do handmade pattern for me, but just because I'm used to it. Any questions, you guys, so far? Oh, I'm going to show you something. You tell me, why did it tell me that I have a mistake? Okay, I'm going to copy that. And let's go back to Firefly. And let's go back here to vector. And I'm just going to paste this prompt, and I'm going to paste it over here and see if you're going to get, if I'm going to get the same stuff. Because I got before when I tried to do it that something is not good in this prompt. Maybe maybe now it's going to like me. Oh, this time I got it. I don't know. Before that, when I did something, it just told me that the prompt is not okay. Oh, by the way, I still had the reference without even paying attention. You should pay attention if you don't want to have the stuff that you had from before. Just pay attention that it's going to look without the reference. It just remember the green reference that I had before.
While it's loading, Roland asks, just checking if the generated vectors can be sent in a Firefly board.
Which one over here?
Uh, I think we might have been in Illustrator at the time that he asked. Roland, you can feel free to unmute if you want to ask. But he said, just checking if the generated vectors can be
Mhm.
sent in a Firefly board.
Yes, they can do that. But I don't know if they can do it directly from here, or from Illustrator. I have to
He's saying
remember.
from Illustrator too, yeah.
I think it does it from Illustrator. Okay. There is a place here that it sends you directly to Firefly board. Let me just see where it is. I just saw it today. Okay. Open in Firefly board. Do you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if it's in the regular Illustrator or it is in the beta Illustrator. Ooh. Okay.
That might be getting memory intensive, huh?
Yeah. But yes, you can do that. And you can send it to, so like the iteration that I had before about the turkey, that by mistake I put it, all of them, I could have put it in the board and start playing with different kind of positions that I have. But I don't think he wants to go in here. Maybe he doesn't like me. Let me just go back here.
And just so you're aware, we are coming up on our
Yeah,
closing time, but it is
yeah,
cool to see. Yeah, we wanted to see if that was gonna.
yeah. It probably does it, but it's probably tired right now. I mean, probably I exhausted it a little bit. That's because it needs to raster. Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
when I go back before we finish it, let me just go back. And another thing, I couldn't do it because maybe some memory issue that I had, but I went back here to my, here's the board, and then where is this? You see, it's still, I mean, I'm going to go back here and then all types. And then look, the vectors are still not there, which is really pissing me off. I thought this should have been there, and there's a way to see it there. Do you see that,
Yeah, just
guys?
maybe that it takes some time to pull it into the
To
library,
pull it
cache
into
it,
the
and bring it
library.
in.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
in your gallery that you have, but the syncing, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe try changing the type at the
Oh,
top.
yeah, I did.
Oh, you dropped down the types in the top of the
Yeah,
library.
yeah, I just went back. Oh, this one is a very funny one. This one is actually in Firefly. I took my drawing and I made it into image. Look how horrible it looks. It should be me, but it's not. But
Hmm.
it just took the image and then transformed it, took the drawing and transformed it into an image, which I didn't like it,
Wow.
but okay, see all types, images,
Yeah, I'm not seeing that it
generation.
has vectors in the drop down.
Yeah, I was hoping that's what I was looking for. There's no, and this is video and this is audio, which I don't have.
But the vector components themselves are not rendering
Yeah,
as it would be AI as opposed to
yeah,
PNG or JPEG. Yeah.
yeah. They're not there. So this is why, um, if you want to keep a lot of the stuff that you're doing, you probably want to download it
Yeah.
because if not, you can just end up not having it.
Or save it as symbols or components to
Similar
go in your
component, bring it
libraries.
to Illustrator and whatever you do. Yeah. So it is, I know it's it is part of their plan to bring it over, but just it's still not there.
Hmm.
And I don't think I can also go and bring my images into the gallery. I don't think they let you do vector images so far, unless they started and I didn't know. But you see all the images. What I don't like is, like, I have a lot of images that I put in the gallery here. I
Mhm.
don't know how to find them. Anybody knows how to find your own images?
In the right corner there it says view your submissions,
Oh,
but
yeah.
let's see. Are those
But I
accurate?
don't know if they were accepted. Maybe I just submitted it, but they're going in.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. It's tired. Tired. Anyway.
All right. All right. Well, Hannah, we appreciate this. Was fascinating. And I love that everybody was participating and joining in. We really appreciate all of the knowledge, the wealth of information, and the creativity that you bring to our presentation. So thank you again.
You're
Everybody
welcome.
give Hannah a big hand. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. And Doug says, woo. All right. And before we get ready to get off, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Daniel Kramer. Oh, yeah. Roland says, great session, Hannah. Love it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Daniel, the floor is yours. We're going to call this raffle winner real quick.
Yes. So the prize is a online Photoshop workshop with Stephen Burns. He's not here to describe it right now. He said he was going to try to make it on here. So whoever wins this, private message me your phone number and your email. He wants me to give that to them.
Okay.
1 second. I'm going to share this screen.
Okay. All right. And our winner tonight is
Doug.
Yay.
Congratulations, Doug. Woo woo. You're the winner tonight. And I think we have your contact info already.
Doug, private message me your phone number and your email, and I'm going to give that over to Stephen, and he'll be in touch with you.
Okay, Daniel, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just put it in the chat and then we'll be good to go. All right, everybody. We just want to say thank you again for joining. We have a June session coming up, and then I think we're taking taking a quick July break.
Yes,
And
no July. I think it's June 23rd. Is that correct?
I think so. Yep. And then we'll be putting out the information on our Eventbrite and socials.
Yeah, that will come out soon. I'm waiting for someone to get back to me. First they said yes, and then they're not responding. So if they still don't respond in another few days, I'll get someone else.
Okay. Where are you posting the recording? Because I missed Kevin's because I was not in town and I wanted to look at it.
I will send that right to you. I'll make it available, but it's on it's on my YouTube under LA Web Professionals, LAWPG, and it's all of our recordings. There's a
LA
playlist there.
Web.
LAWPG. All righty. I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead and shut down our recording for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next